So within overall, I guess, clinical operations, AI in general has not fully scaled across every avenue, right? So to date, across many pharmaceutical sponsors, there's been a lot of efforts to have been done, but really at more of a pilot level. Now, certain functions within those clinical operations domains have expanded those pilots to go beyond just the initial pilot, but the majority of effort really has not gone beyond. TMF is one key example. So TMF, really, from my perspective, is the heart of a clinical trial, right? This is the trial master file. This is where all the evidence really should be kept and stored. And this should, in theory, be able to, for a regulator or anyone who wants to inspect the trial, be able to tell you the story of the trial if you want to go backwards and forwards and just tear it apart, right? So what's in there is the truth. Now, in order to capture the truth, sponsors have access to particular sets of files, right, which will not have specific clinical data, highlighting patients, et cetera, all those natures. So for that in mind, they need to go ahead and access those files from sites which are broader files, and also just understanding overall global files. Now, each of those files to go ahead and archive, there's a particular archiving process. So for a TMF manager, which is a traditional role in a clinical pharmaceutical company, you will have to go spend about 15 to 20 minutes or so to traditionally archive one file. This involves development of the actual ontology, the folder, labeling, emailing the actual source from the data processor back and forth to validate and verify, et cetera. Now, how do you go ahead and cut that timeline down? So traditionally, what individuals have done is they've streamlined it on multiple systems, but that has not really helped so much. So what has happened in the last 5 years is the use of RPA type technology. So using bot technology and artificial intelligence to gather those evidence upfront for you and to be able to generate those folders in the ontology structure. There are a couple of companies that have done this quite well from an external third-party service provider perspective, but many pharmaceutical companies are now starting to explore it. So for instance, a company like Pfizer, for instance, right, can have 1 to 1.5 million files they may archive a year, maybe even more. And each of those files may take 15 minutes. With the bot technology using AI, you're cutting that time down to seconds, right? So it significantly can reduce the time in order for you to go ahead and do that effort and task. Now, from a resource perspective, that's a significant plus and balance, right, for the actual sponsor, because each of those resources spending that time and effort now can be redirected or rerouted to other activities which are not so iterative, right, and require more strategic thinking and application. So this one, I guess, big example in the last 3 to 5 years that has really taken to scale across many companies and has made a valuable impact across the operational lifecycle and chain.